Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Uh, so, thank you, Snehal ma'am and Prashant sir, for this wonderful opportunity. I'll be presenting a Yeah, I'll be presenting a case of pulmonary hypertension associated with eosinophilia. So, pulmonary eosinophilia can usually mimic a hyperactive airway disease, but eosinophilia presenting with pulmonary hypertension is rare. We had two such cases. One first case was a 3-year-old male child hailing from Uttar Pradesh and came with history of frequent hospitalizations for respiratory distress. He had WHO functional class 2 symptoms and was being treated as asthma, and he was referred for PH, which was diagnosed outside. So on admission, he was comfortable and he had slight tachypnea. Otherwise, pulse, BP, everything was normal. Systemic examination, he had a mild precordial bulge, palpable second heart sound. S1 was normal, S2 was split with loud P2 component, and there was a short grade 2 by 6 ejection systolic murmur with bilateral bronchi. So we did a X-ray which showed a cardiomegaly with prominent RA with prominent pulmonary artery. ECG showed right axis deviation with right ventricular forces with RV strain pattern, and echo was done. Echo was done, which showed a small PDA, 1.5 to 2 millimeter, with the left to right shunt restricted by gradient of 36. There was moderate tricuspid wall regurgitation with RV systolic pressure of 80 mm of mercury. And he had dilated RA and RV with good biventricular contractility. So the first image shows a PDA with a PDA restricted by gradient of 36. The TAPSE was normal, and TRZ gradient was around 80. So a pre-cath workup revealed a TLC of 28,000 with absolute eosinophil count of 13,000. Serum IG was done in view of high eosinophil count, which revealed 18,000 units. So to rule out a parasitic infection, we did a stool routine, which was negative. Peripheral smear was done for Wucheria bancrofti, which was negative. So a filarial antigen was sent, which showed a positive result. CT scan was normal. There was dilated branch PS. A few discrete bilateral subpleural nodules were noted, but no chronic lung changes. So after consultation with a pulmonologist and infection specialist, we started him on diethyl carbamazepine at dose of 6 milligram per kg per day, and it was decided to continue the treatment for 14 days. Mebendazole was also started. It is off-label, but it was started. Diuretics, vasodilators, and low-dose oral steroids were continued. So patient followed up after 14 days. His TLC was noted to be high still, and absolute eosinophil count was marginally high. It had reduced from 13,000 to 400, and IgE levels had decreased from 18,000 to 1,000. Repeat transthoracic echo was done after 1 month, and it showed the PDA gradient. PDA gradient was restricted by 60. The TRZ gradient was 28. We had a similar case who was a 12-year-old, and there was history of repeated attacks of asthma, itching, and rashes. This child was also hailing from Uttar Pradesh. There was history of recurrent travels or recurrent visits to his grandparents in Uttar Pradesh. This child also was noted to have high TLC with eosinophilia of 36%. IgE levels were high, and filarial antigen was positive. So normals with a normal CT scan. So we did a literature review which showed that pulmonary eosinophilia occurs mostly secondary to metazoan infections, with most common organism being strongyloids, Ascaris, Toxocara, Filaria, and Ankylostoma. But the cause for pulmonary hypertension has not been explained in human beings. So we searched some more journals. We came up with a conclusion that it is caused by, there are few case reports where they have reported as a PH secondary to tropical eosinophilia caused by Wucheria bancrofti and Brugia malai. And it has been commonly reported in dogs where a different species of filaria is known as a causative organism. So this is a case report. This is a study which shows pulmonary hypertension in dogs with a heartworm, which is a sister or a different species of filaria. Then there was a case report from like way back from 1970, which shows primary pulmonary hypertension with eosinophilia with filariasis in human beings. And there was a recent report from SGPGI in 2013, which shows tropical eosinophilia presenting as severe PH. So like from this, from all the studies and all the literature review, we came to a conclusion that GGT present in larva cross-reacts with a human pulmonary epithelium, which leads to eosinophilia and oxygen radical production, which leads to chronic inflammatory changes and pulmonary fibrosis, which can lead to pulmonary hypertension. But none of our patients had pulmonary fibrosis. So maybe it is earlier, it is at later stages, they can present as pulmonary hypertension. And the other theory or other hypothesis was based on a dog study, which was published, which is destruction of microfilaria can lead to occlusion or embolization in lung capillaries, leading to obstruction of capillaries and pulmonary hypertension. So from these cases, we came to a conclusion that filaria should be ruled out in any patient with idiopathic PH, with symptoms like asthma-like symptoms, with itching, rashes, eosinophilia, and history of travel to endemic regions. And it should be diagnosed using peripheral smear for microfilaria or a filarial antigen test, which is diagnostic. And DEC with mebendazole, vasodilators, and steroids should be considered. Thank you. Yeah.
I think an extremely good and a rare case, and the giveaway was the eosinophilia, and that is how you investigated further, right?
So it was worked up for eosinophilia, and then we came to a conclusion. It was after pulmonologist and infection people suggested that get a filaria done.
Okay. Very good.
Both the patients were positive for filaria.
We both had the same reaction. I mean, thank you very much for presenting this. It really is a very fascinating case. And I obviously have no experience at all. But I wondered whether there were parallels between this and the pulmonary hypertension you see in schistosomiasis.
Yeah, there are few parallels, but the pathogenesis is not explained in filaria.
It isn't really in schistosomiasis.
Yeah, so it has been explained in dogs where they have demonstrated pulmonary arteries or pulmonary capillaries congested with microfilaria from the worms, but it has not been explained in human beings. So these two kids,
You didn't need to do a biopsy. But
had two within last 3 months.
So your question really is what is protecting all those infected patients from not getting it?
I have absolutely similar case, and that fellow is going on strong for 15 years. With that PM mean of 70, 80, I thought he would not last, but he is doing very well. So my suspicion is that this would have a better prognosis than conventional PDS, hopefully.
Return from, yes, it has returned. The earlier age.